Does that sound about right that in September of 2020, 4 months before President Biden took office, there was a backlog of 1.5 million cases, but by the time President Biden left office, the backlog reached nearly 4.2 million cases?
It sounds about right, but I don't have the exact numbers.
It would be accurate to say that most individuals who file for asylum have a meritless or fraudulent claim?
Most. I don't have the numbers.
No.
One word. That is all it took. One single word from Attorney General Pam Bondi that just changed everything. Chip Roy, Republican from Texas, looked her dead in the eye and asked her point blank, "Are new indictments coming in the Epstein case?" And Bondi, sitting right there, under oath, in front of cameras, in front of the American people, said one word: absolutely. Not maybe, not we are looking into it, not I cannot discuss that in an open setting. Absolutely. That word just sent shockwaves through Washington, because what Bondi just confirmed is that the Department of Justice is actively preparing to indict people connected to Jeffrey Epstein, people whose names have been protected for years, people who thought they were untouchable. Watch this video until the end, because what Chip Roy pulled out of Bondi during this hearing is something no other congressman has been able to do. He got her to admit it on the record. And if this matters to you, if you believe that no one should be above the law, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications, because this story is about to explode, and you do not want to miss what comes next. House Judiciary Committee hearing, Wednesday morning. The room was packed. Every seat taken, journalists lining the back wall, cameras set up at every angle. Pam Bondi walked in with her usual confidence, lawyers beside her, aides behind her. She had already survived hours of questioning from Democrats trying to corner her on everything from DOJ spending to political prosecutions. She handled all of it the way she always does. Careful words, practiced deflections, just enough of an answer to run out the clock without actually saying anything. She looked comfortable, almost relaxed, like she had been through this 100 times before and knew exactly how it would end. Then Chip Roy took the microphone, and everything changed. Now here is what you need to understand about Chip Roy. He is not a Democrat trying to score political points against a Republican attorney general. He is a Republican, a conservative Republican from Texas, a former chief of staff to Ted Cruz, a man who has spent his career fighting for limited government and constitutional principles. When Chip Roy asks you a question, it is not partisan theater. It is a man who genuinely wants answers. And today, he wanted answers about Jeffrey Epstein. Roy started calm, almost conversational. He leaned into his microphone and said, "Attorney General Bondi, I want to talk about something that the American people have been waiting to hear about for a very long time." The room got quiet. Not the normal quiet between questions, the kind of quiet where people stop typing, stop whispering, stop checking their phones. Everyone knew what was coming. Roy continued, "There are names connected to Jeffrey Epstein that have never been prosecuted. There are individuals who participated in horrific crimes against children, and they have walked free for years. Some of them are powerful. Some of them are wealthy. Some of them have connections that reach into the highest levels of government and entertainment and business." Bondi nodded slightly. She knew where this was going. Roy leaned forward. "My question is simple, Madam Attorney General. Is the Department of Justice, under your leadership, actively pursuing new indictments against individuals connected to Jeffrey Epstein and his criminal network?" The room held its breath. This was the question, the one that every attorney general before Bondi had dodged, deflected, classified, or buried. The one that victims and their families had been begging someone to answer for years. Every other time this question had been asked in a congressional hearing, the response was always the same. "I cannot discuss ongoing investigations. That is a matter for the appropriate division. I would refer you to the relevant case files." Empty words designed to make the question disappear. But Bondi did not do that. She looked directly at Chip Roy. She did not glance at her lawyers. She did not pause to consider her words. She did not ask for clarification. She said one word: Absolutely. Everything changed. The room reacted immediately. A murmur rolled through the gallery. Journalists started typing. Committee members exchanged glances. Absolutely. Not a hedge, not a deflection, a confirmation. Roy could not let the moment pass. He pressed harder. Can you tell us, are we talking about individuals who were previously known associates of Epstein, or are we talking about new names that have emerged from ongoing investigations? Bondi's response was measured but clear. Congressman, I can tell you that the Department of Justice is looking at this from every angle. We are reviewing evidence that was previously gathered, and we are also pursuing new leads. There are individuals who should have been held accountable a long time ago and were not. That is going to change. Roy nodded. He was not done. He asked the follow-up question that nobody else had the guts to ask. Are any of the individuals currently under investigation people who hold or have held public office? Bondi paused, just for a moment. Then she said, I am not going to name specific individuals, but I will tell you that no one is above the law, regardless of their position, regardless of their connections, regardless of their wealth. If the evidence supports prosecution, we will prosecute. That answer right there is what makes this hearing different from every single Epstein hearing that came before it. Previous attorneys general treated the Epstein case like radioactive material, something to be handled with gloves, kept at a distance, locked away in classified briefings where the public could never see it. Bondi just blew that approach apart. She did not say, we are reviewing. She did not say, we are considering. She said, absolutely. She said, we will prosecute. She said, no one is above the law. And she said it on camera, under oath, in front of the entire country. Chip Roy understood exactly what he had just accomplished. He had gotten the sitting Attorney General of the United States to confirm on the Congressional record that new indictments are coming in the Epstein case. Not hypothetically, not conditionally, absolutely. Roy continued pressing. He brought up the victims. He talked about the young women who were trafficked, abused, and then silenced by a system that protected their abusers. He talked about how for years the Department of Justice had the evidence, had the names, had the testimony, and did nothing. He asked Bondi directly, do the victims of Jeffrey Epstein have your personal commitment that their abusers will face justice? Bondi's answer was firm. They do. I have met with survivors. I have listened to their stories. What happened to them is unspeakable, and I will use every tool available to this department to make sure that the people who hurt them are held accountable. Roy sat back in his chair for a moment. He looked at Bondi and said something that cut through all the political noise. Madam Attorney General, the American people have been lied to about this case for years. They have been told that the investigation is ongoing when it was actually stalled. They have been told that the files are classified when they were actually being hidden. They have been told to trust the system when the system was protecting predators. You just told this committee that new indictments are coming. I am going to hold you to that. The American people are going to hold you to that. Because if this turns out to be another empty promise, another political performance, another way to make this story go away, then you will have failed not just this committee, but every single victim who is watching right now, hoping that this time will be different. Bondi responded quietly, but firmly. Congressman, this is not a performance. This is a commitment. Roy gathered his papers. My time is expired, Mr. Chairman. And just like that, in under 10 minutes, Chip Roy accomplished what years of hearings and investigations and political theater had failed to do. He got a sitting attorney general to say absolutely on the record about new Epstein indictments. He got her to confirm that no one is above the law, regardless of position or connections. He got her to personally commit to the victims, and he made it clear that there will be accountability if she does not follow through. This is not about Republican versus Democrat. This is a Republican congressman demanding answers from a Republican attorney general about crimes against children. And for the first time in years, the answer was not a dodge, not a deflection, and not a classified briefing behind closed doors. The answer was absolutely. Now I want to hear from you. Do you believe Bondi will follow through on this commitment? Do you think we will actually see new indictments? Or is this another empty promise that will disappear once the cameras turn off? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now because this conversation matters. And if you found this video important, share it with someone who needs to see it. Share it on your social media. Send it to a friend. The more people who know about this, the harder it becomes for anyone to bury it again. Subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications because I will be covering every single development in this story as it unfolds. When those indictments come, you will hear about it here first. Chip Roy cornered Pam Bondi today. He asked her the question everyone else was afraid to ask, and she answered it with one word that just changed everything. Absolutely. New indictments are coming. The only question now is who.